right now, you're good copy. You are peaking in S9. You are peaking in S9. Okay, so let me turn it back to you, and I guess 5 minutes. Begin. KC9VKV. I'm going to drink some water here. My voice is just on the edge of going out at K1GZL. Do you copy? All right, go ahead.
Roger, Charlie, everything's perfect. And this is a KC9VKV with just a heads up. The regular Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net will be starting in 5 minutes at 3:30 on this frequency.
At 3:30 on this frequency.
KC9VKV checking 1 2 3 4 5 5 4 3 2 1. Checking Georgia SDR. Checking Virginia SDR.
Yeah, this is K1 communication with KC9 Victor King Victor on frequency here. We would appreciate a clear frequency as Jim is going to be running a group here as he does every Friday, and he helps out those especially have new equipment and don't have the transmitters set up right, and he can, with his many years of experience in broadcasting, help out. So a clear channel would be appreciated. So Jim can do this, and it will eventually end up on with the internet on YouTube. Back to you, Jim. KC9VKV, K1GZL.
Okay, Charlie, WA3ZDI.
Yeah, I'll catch you right at the end, okay?
Roger.
Right.
Okay, be on the air in 1 minute.
Okay, be on the air in 1 minute.
And good afternoon, everyone. This is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor. My name is Jim, and this is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network. This is a directed network, and I am net control. If at any time during this net should any emergency arise, please notify net control, and we'll stand by and allow those in need to access this frequency. Is there any priority or emergency traffic at this time? And hearing nothing, we will continue. This net is all about ham radio and being all that you can be. That's what our Qso-Vlog network is all about, trying to help people achieve the best sounding station possible. Thanks for dropping by. FYI, my background is 50 years in commercial broadcasting, where a lot of big bucks are spent on audio processing equipment and getting it set up correctly to get the best sounding station possible. Well, long story short, when I became a ham radio operator, I could hear immediately a large discrepancy in on-air technical proficiency. A lot of stations were running with very poor mic equalization, very muddy, with little articulation. And as I continued to work stations, I realized most of the stations were also running very low average peak modulation, many around 30% of average peak modulation. So with my background, I felt I could help, or at least try. I knew that most modern-day ham transceivers did have enough onboard processing equipment to be able to overcome most all of the problems. So it would just be a matter of developing a generic dynamic range setup procedure and then adjusting the onboard EQ gear. And so I started the Qso-Vlog network with the phrase, if you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout. And today we're currently featuring over 2,700 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings. And you can access these recordings by going to YouTube and doing a call letter search for KC9VKV followed by the word logbook. That's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor followed by the word logbook. And we also have a newer series called KC9VKV Highlights. That's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor followed by the word highlights on a YouTube search. These are some of our less technical and more human nature philosophical kinds of QSOs. That's KC9VKV followed by the word highlights on a YouTube search. Both KC9VKV Highlights and KC9VKV Logbook are segments of our main YouTube homepage of Jim's Radio Story, where we celebrate a 50-year career in commercial broadcasting, a 50-year journey from a 5-watt pirate radio station as a 12-year-old to production director of a major 50,000-watt AM broadcast facility. And the thing that makes this truly a unique story is that I have all the actual masters from all along the way. Over 2,600 shows, including many full-length major music concerts and radio documentaries. You'll have to check it out and subscribe. Jim's Radio Story on a YouTube search. Our mission statement for the Qso-Vlog network is to establish a higher technical level of radio transmissions of the human voice by the intelligent utilization of available electronics in current amateur radio transceivers. Our setup, while generic in nature, converts the average 10 dB dynamic range transmitter with an average 30% of peak modulation to a much fuller 3 dB dynamic range with an average 80 to 85% of peak modulation. This substantial boost in audio transmit level is extremely beneficial in high noise levels and heavy QRM. It allows you to punch through when others fail. The second part of our transmitter setup has to do with proper mic equalization. We're looking to optimize the transmitted voice for a higher degree of intelligibility through the use of EQ patterns that bring out the articulation aspects of the human voice. Again, why need to hear the voice if you can't understand the words? Also this afternoon on the receive side, we're running 5 Internet SDR receivers, monitoring New York, Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Virginia specifically, and in addition, we're running our new number 5 Hocus Pocus Internet SDR receiver, loaded with 50 additional pre-programmed Internet SDR locations spread out over 20 states across the eastern half of the United States, trying to get the best copy from our 100-watt friends. Now, the audio from these 5 SDR receivers comes up on a 6-position rotary selector. Also on this selector is our local receiver audio. And today our local receiver is running 3 large 10-foot vertical magnetic loop antennas, one aimed at 0 degrees, one aimed at 90 degrees, and the number 3 is aimed at 134 degrees. These are run as a directional scanner array with a manual voting system 6-position rotary selector. Also today on the transmit side, we'll be running our NoSWR specially oriented resonant tuned dipole antenna. One leg of this resonant tuned dipole runs broadside to Montreal, Canada. The other leg runs broadside to Miami, Florida. As we were constructing our station, our mantra was 20 over from Montreal to Miami with a hotspot through the Carolinas. And although conditions may vary, the general performance of this antenna supports its mission. Also today we'll be running our input source indicator, so when we switch from an Internet SDR receiver to our local receiver, you'll be able to hear the switch and see the switch. You'll have to check it out on our YouTube Qso-Vlog video. And as we come together for another Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network, let us pause just a moment for the amateur radio operator's prayer. Lord, we pray for clear 20 over S9 communications today. Let all our transmissions fill the air and reach their destinations QSA5 to be understood by all. And as we pray for good radio conditions, let us also pray for good human conditions. During this time of pandemic that has challenged us all, we pray that you'll protect everyone, especially our elderly. And also, Lord, we seek your divine intervention to bring peace to a very divided United States. As we go through a very conflicting time in America's history, with dark clouds all around, we pray that you will reduce life's daily political QRM between our brothers and sisters. And through your love and guidance, show us the way to find peace and harmony. Help us to communicate with one another 20 over S9. Thank you, Lord, and God bless and protect America. Amen. To continue, since this part of the band has many nets trying to operate in a very confined area, I'd appreciate all stations checking into our Qso-Vlog net to keep their band pass to no wider than 100 to 2900. And again, please, no wider than 100 to 2900. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network. And now let's check in and see if Charlie K1GZL is on frequency to bring us up to date on the latest 40-meter band propagation. Charlie, got a copy?
Charlie, got a copy?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I do, Jim. KC9VKV, K1GZL, George Zebra London, returning. Right now you're running a 6 to a 9. Very, very Q5, as I, of course, do not have SDR capability here. I'm hearing you direct from southern Indiana near Louisville, Kentucky. How well are you copying, and are you copying through Milford, Jim? Go ahead.
Through Milford at about 25 to 30 over.
Through Milford at about 25 to 30 over.
Okay. All right. Let me play a little bit of VK3S. Oh, gosh. Anyway, down east of Melbourne, Australia, I recorded a little over a week ago. Tried it last week, but there were problems in transmission. But anyway, here he is, we hope. Wait a minute. Let's see.
The chair, you're so loud. You've got a beautiful signal, over.
Okay.
Roger, Roger, K1GZL, VK3 Aussie. My name is Grant, Golf, Romeo, Alpha, November Tango. Yep, call sign correct. Into Melbourne.
What?
A30ZY. Mate, that's amazing. It sounded very, very clear. I'm very happy with that signal. I don't have the technology to record you, but believe me, your signal is very, very clear as well, over. FTDX101MP, 400 watts into a 5-element tri-band, beaming sort of halfway long past Europe, halfway short past the USA, over. EZL VK30ZY. No, our winter is very mild. We're still in winter at the moment, but it's been a very mild winter. But we got cheated out of our summer. We had a very mild summer as well. So they're sort of saying that this summer coming up is going to be very, very hot, over.
Okay, Jim, how does that come through? KC9VKV, K1GZL, and did you get it through Milford?
Oh, yeah. Everything went absolutely perfect. That was amazingly clear for, a transmission down in Australia. Roger, Roger.
A transmission down in Australia. Roger, Roger.
Roger. I'm glad it worked out. My earphones conked out on me. One earphone went out, and previous to that, I was having a problem with the cassette. Every once in a while, the connection into the cassette would break down, and I had to keep putting it back and forth and putting weights by other cassettes underneath the cabling coming out of the cassette, and then it would straighten out. But since I put these other earphones on, which I used to have in my living room used for stereo on recording things from the TV set. I brought it in here, and since that time, I don't seem to have had any trouble. Well, look, Jim, I'll say 73. My voice just now started to get a little rough. I'll say 73. I want to wish you the best of luck, and hopefully we'll catch you next week. We'll catch you next Friday, and we hope that we have conditions as good as we had this afternoon. And Craig, I'll catch you down around 50, 55 or so at the end of this. KC9VKV, K1GZL. Always a pleasure, and keep up the good work there, Jim. And if you need any help on trying to find SDRs, we'll try to assist you from this end. Just let me know ahead of time. K1GZL clear.
Roger, Roger, Charlie. Everything beautiful. Thanks so much for joining us this afternoon to open up our Qso-Vlog net. Always a pleasure. So let me say 73 up that way. You have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. And this is just a reminder, this is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. My name is Jim, KC9VKV, and I'm better known in some circles as Dr. VKV. And we're recording now live till 5. So if you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout. We'll post this recording up on YouTube in the next couple of days. So when you go to YouTube, just do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook. That's Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word logbook. And that'll take you to our YouTube Qso-Vlog page, where we're currently featuring over 2,600 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings. This recording will be cut number 1 in that series. And without further ado, let's open it up and see who's out there. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout.
If you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout.
Station calling, come back with your call, son, again.
Station calling, come back with your call, son, again.
Delta 8 Yankee Papa.
I got Delta 8 Yankee Papa. What's the first part of that?
I got the Delta 8 Yankee Papa. What's the first part of that?
Kilo Delta 8 Yankee Papa.
Roger, Kilo Delta 8 Yankee Papa. And what's the name there?
Roger, Kilo Delta 8 Yankee Papa. And what's the name there?
The name is Joe, Jet Oscar Echo, North Charleston, West Virginia.
Was that George? Gotcha, Joe. And you're in West Virginia. Is that a Roger?
Gotcha, Joe. And you're in West Virginia. Is that a Roger?
That's Roger. We're here in Charleston, West Virginia.
Roger, Joe. And what radio are you running today, sir?
Roger, Joe. And what radio are you running today, sir?
We're on the 991 Yankee, an older one on the 2-element beam.
Roger that. Well, let's see here. I've got information on that 991. Let me go to files and bring that up. It'll just be just a second. Let's just make sure here. 991A. Yeah, okay, our setup begins, if you're interested, with just a verification that you're in that wide 100 to 2900 mode, Roger?
That wide 100 to 2900 mode, Roger?
Roger, we're just in standing mode, nothing completely out of the picture.
All right, why don't you give me about 10 seconds and tell me about your antenna system, and let me look around and see if I can find a better path for us, Roger.
Antenna system, and let me look around and see if I can find a better path for us, Roger.
Roger, we'll be away.
Yeah, just give me a little talk here about your antenna system, Roger.
Yeah, just give me a little talk here about your antenna system, Roger.
Okay, real good. It's up about 65 feet off the ground. 2 elements, Yankee,
20-foot elements, about 22-foot boom. Horizontal polarized.
All right, sir. So you said you were in that 100 to 2900 transmit band mode, Roger?
100 to 2900 transmit band mode, Roger. Just whatever standard programming is, I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Well, that radio can operate in a lot of different frequency widths. You know, you can narrow that band, that radio, to a really shallow band and not have very good frequency response. So you have the option of going to 100 to 2900. That would be in settings. We could run across it later. Are you somewhat familiar with your radio?
We could run across it later. Are you somewhat familiar with your radio? Yeah, I haven't tuned around on for a long time, but yeah, it's pretty your standard programming.
All right, I sound like you might be a little hot into your ALC, so we could go with our normal setup procedure. Starts with you engaging your processor on at a 3. Processor on at a 3. It's a token amount, something you'll never hear on the air, but it helps us achieve our 3 dB dynamic range at the end of our setup, Roger.
Achieve our 3 dB dynamic range at the end of our setup, Roger. Okay, let's see if I can get that done. It's been so long since I wrote. I'm not familiar with the programming, so I'll have to get the book out and read a little bit on that one.
Roger, well, maybe you'd feel more comfortable just taking some notes and cranking them in at your leisure later.
Just taking some notes and cranking them in at your leisure later. Yeah, I could do that. Like I say, I just got in and turned it on and happened to be there.
Roger. Well, your processor on at a 3. That's a token amount. Actually 30, since that processor runs 0 to 100. You would be processor on at a 30. Processor on at a 30. Then you would move to your ALC with mic gain in hand, and as you say the magic word audio, don't stress it, just say the words, kind of stress out, and now stretch out that first part of the word audio. You become a human test tone generator, and you are looking at your ALC meter. Adjust your mic gain until your ALC meter is reading 7 on your 991A. 7 on your ALC meter as you say the word audio, and adjust that through your mic gain control. Roger?
Adjust that through your mic gain control. Roger?
Hey, Joe, you still have a copy?
Hey, Joe, you still have a copy?
I've got around the horn, Joe. Your signal has fallen back some. You're about a dB and a half over my PA SDR, and that was the best receiver signal that I was getting from you. So let's see if it came back up. This is KC9VKV, back to KD8YP.
Back to KD8YP.
Okay, I just barely copied you on Syracuse, New York is one of our new SDR receivers. Let me see if I can get in a little bit closer on my SDRs and maybe get a better signal here. Let me look here. Got to try up around, maybe New York, Highland Falls, New York. Let me just try in there, and we'll see if I can get that on the first skip. Come back and let me hear you, Joe. Not doing too well there. Well, gosh, Joe, can you copy me fairly well?
Can you copy me fairly well?
Roger. Well, did you copy the last notes that I managed to give you?
Well, did you copy the last notes that I managed to give you? Yeah, I didn't copy them. I just said
All right. Well, you can play with those as you find places to plug them in, as and maybe conditions will be better later on today, or maybe next Friday. You can give me a shout, and I can hear what you're doing a little bit better if we have some better propagation. So let me say 73 to you now there, Joe, and we'll catch you later. Have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. And if you want to hear your audio or what I've got of it, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, that will take you to this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 2,700 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. So 73 for now, Joe, and if my signal comes up to you a little bit, maybe you might try me again today, Roger?
My signal comes up to you a little bit, maybe you might try me again today, Roger? Roger, I'm going to do right now.
And this is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. My name is Jim, and we're on the air until 5:30 this afternoon. So if you have a radio that you're looking to check out, give me a shout.
Give me a shout.
This is Kilo 4 Papa Quebec uniform.
Kilo 4 station, come back with your call sign again, slowly, phonetically.
Station, come back with your call sign again, slowly, phonetically.
Kilo 4 Papa Quebec uniform.
Roger, and what's the name there?
Roger, and what's the name there?
My name is Will, Whiskey India Lima.
Roger, Will, and whereabouts are you located, sir?
Roger, Will, and whereabouts are you located, sir?
I'm located in Lexington, Kentucky.
Roger, Will, and what radio are you running today, sir?
Roger, Will, and what radio are you running today, sir?
I'm running the Icon 7300.
Alrighty, Will, I have an SDR location in Kentucky, in northern Kentucky, so that should be right in your back door. Come back and let me hear you about 10 seconds worth of your what your antenna is and how you run your antenna. Roger.
High gain. I think it's an 8-band version. I think the model number may be 680. I'm not exactly sure on that. Back to you.
Yes, sir. Well, I've got, I think my SDR is in Lexington there, and so I have a really good copy on you there, Will. And the 7300 is just a beautiful radio. You have one of the best radios going for the buck, I think, anyway. We have a setup procedure for that radio if you might be interested. It starts with you checking to be sure you're in that 100 to 2900 transmit bandwidth. That's called wide. It enables your transmitter to operate at its best performance, Roger.
Best performance, Roger.
Roger that. Yes, any help would be helpful. Yeah.
Alrighty, if you're familiar with that, let's see here. Let me crank in some notes here real quick. And I was talking about how you get to your various things. That width, transmitter width, is the menu button, rectangular button at the lower right side of the display. Takes you to set, which takes you to tone control, which takes you to transmit, which takes you to single sideband, and also takes you to TBW. And TBW is your transmit bandwidth. And you want to set, you have three options, and you want to set it to 100 to 2900. Roger?
To 2900, Roger.
Roger that. Do I want to set all three of them to 100 to 2900?
You can do that, and that avoids you accidentally slipping into some other transmit band mode that you don't want to be, because I do recommend that 100 to 2900 because it allows your transmitter to perform at its maximum capability. Roger?
Maximum capability, Roger.
Roger that. I'm changing the settings as we speak.
Whiskey 4, Foxtrot, Lima Whiskey.
Lima Whiskey Station, stand by for a moment. We're working with KK4 PQU. Roger?
PQU, Roger.
Okay, I've got all the settings set there, all the same, 100 through 2900.
All right, sir. Now I want you to go to your compressor on at a 3. It's a token amount, something you'll never hear on the air, but it helps us achieve our final 3 dB dynamic range. Roger?
dB dynamic range, Roger.
Roger that. That's what it's on. Actually, right now it's already on 3.
All right, sir. Now let's move to your ALC with mic gain in hand. Your ALC meter, and as you say the word audio, don't stress it, just say it, kind of elongate the first part of that word, the audio part. You become a human test tone generator, and adjust your mic gain until your ALC meter is running 2/3. 2/3 on your ALC meter as you say the word audio, and adjust your mic gain control. Roger?
Sure, mic gain control, Roger.
Roger that. Audio. Okay, that's about 2/3 right there.
Super. Now let's go on to your EQ control menu. EQ control.
EQ control.
Which is tone control. Let's go to your tone control page.
Tone control. Let's go to your tone control page.
Okay, I'm back there.
All right, and you have two controls, treble and bass. And what's your treble reading and what's your bass reading?
What's your treble reading and what's your bass reading?
My treble is +3 and my bass is 0.
All righty, let's go ahead and max out your treble, +5. +5 on your treble, Roger.
+5 on your treble, Roger.
QSL, there it is at 5.
All righty, and move your bass to ±0, Roger.
-0, Roger.
To -0.
Well, it's actually flat, at ±0, Roger.
Flat, at ±0, Roger.
QSL. My fault there. Okay, it's on 0 now.
All right, sir, and if you would, give me about 10 seconds. Tell me about your antenna system, and let me listen to your audio and get a good recording.
Listen to your audio and get a good recording.
Okay, this is KK4 PQU here in Lexington, Kentucky, Willard. And I'm testing out my Icon 7300 on a vertical high gain antenna. It is I think an 8-band antenna, if I'm not mistaken. Back to you.
Okay, good enough, sir. And we'll be posting this up on YouTube, and by tomorrow noon, it'll be cut number 1 in a series of 2,700 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings. If you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, that's Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word logbook, will take you to this recording, and it'll be cut number 1 in a series of 2,700 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings. And again, as I said, I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow, Roger?
I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow, Roger?
Roger that. I do appreciate all your help. Hopefully it's sounding pretty good on your end.
Yes, sir. You're about I'm going through the Lexington SDR, and you're about 3 dB over the Lexington noise level. Come back and let me see if I can get you on my local antenna.
KC4PQU.
Yes, I copy you a little bit on my local antenna. Why don't you give me another 15 seconds and tell me about the best thing you like about your radio?
Well, I like how simple it is. For one thing, it's the menu. For one thing, just not get you confused, and for the $1,000 price point. I don't think you can really do any better. Back to you.
Oh, I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right there. Now, Will, what I want you to do is over the next couple of weeks, I want you to leave your ALC meter out so you can see it, and as you talk, and I want you to think about trying to keep that meter in the sweet spot, 2/3, as you speak, and over a period of time you'll develop a relationship with that meter that you'll be able to just control it right at that 2/3 point, just by your voice. So you might have to correct your mic level just a little bit to keep that ALC meter right in the sweet spot, which is 2/3, Roger?
Roger that. I am running the Howell PR10 microphone as the mic I'm running right now.
Yes, sir. It's a good mic, and we've made allowances for all the mic situations. We've set that modulation level correctly, and so what we want to do now is it's a matter of just being observant as you can on your ALC meter, that you try to keep your level as best you can. The compressor will help a little bit, but you have to do your part to try to keep that level right there at the sweet spot as the way you speak, Roger. And also your proximity to microphone. You want to kind of stay where you are, because if you change positions to your microphone, it'll be doing something called inverse problem with the bass buildup, dynamics. So you want to stay right where you are. You're perfect right where you are. So just stay there and just adjust, if you need to, adjust your mic just a little bit, so you'll stay right there in the ALC sweet spot, Roger?
Roger that. And I do appreciate all your help. I know there's probably a lot of other people there wanting to call you, so I'll let you get back to it.
Roger, Will. So let me say 73 to you, sir. You have a great afternoon and a beautiful weekend, and if you get a chance, we'll see you next Friday. 73. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net, and there was another station out there. Other station, come ahead with your call sign. I did hear somebody that may have been slightly off frequency. It sounded like they were like 1 kc off frequency, so you might have hit your VFO. I'm not real sure about that, but this is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. We'll be recording from now until 5, and at which point we'll take a well-deserved break. We do have a couple of serious things going on. One is about hasty decisions. And so time now for another thrilling edition of Adventures in Radioland. This segment, Hasty Decisions 2, subtitled The German Tank Transmitter. From time to time on our Qso-Vlog network, we discuss the downside of hasty decisions. Now, I don't want to minimize the obvious upside to hasty decisions, but the downside can be far more interesting. Hence, let's move along with the tale of the German tank transmitter. It was a hot afternoon in West Palm Beach, Florida. I was a young man of 20 or so, working in my unair-conditioned shop. The Florida heat was such that sweat was pouring from my body. I took my shirt off to try and cool down as I wrestled with this 30-pound boat anchor thing on my workbench. It was an old German tank transmitter that I had purchased for $25 at my local Army-Navy surplus store. It obviously came from Rommel and his German Desert Tank Corps, or so I assumed by the amount of dust and sand that covered it. At least that's what I imagined it to be. You know, the Germans lost that war in the desert, perhaps just because of this radio. This was a low-band VHF radio with a frequency range of 20 to 50 megahertz, and sometimes propagation distances, better known as skip, can be outstanding at those frequencies. Too much for Rommel and his boys in the desert, because their tank transmissions were being copied loud and clear on the other side of the world in Washington, D.C., much to Rommel's chagrin. Well, this bad boy was sitting on my countertop now, and it had been modified somewhere along the way from 12 or 24 volts DC to 115 volts AC. I had it plugged in and all the tubes were lit, but there was no output as I keyed the mic. And all the information on the radio was written in German, so it was not very helpful. But I could almost swear this was Rommel's personal command tank radio. I could almost see his fingers in the dust on this radio. But alas, it would not transmit a word, and I wondered why. I had removed the outside cover plates, exposing many beautifully laced cable runs, all covered with protective aged orange heavy-duty wax. Most of the wiring appeared to be color-coded, but it was still very hard to follow the wiring in a laced bundle. So what to do? I have to open these laced bundles up to get a better look. So I took a pair of small manicure scissors and began cutting the cable, the lacing of the cable. It was tough going. The lacing was very tight, and the wax was doing all it could to keep the bundle together. Well, I just cut to try a little harder to get these scissors blades into the bundle so I can cut along and take the lace apart to be able to trace the wiring out. So here I am with my thumb and finger through the holes of the small pair of scissors, and I had moved over the transmitter now to get a better angle. My sweaty chest was laying on the frame, and suddenly everything went red. My body was vibrating violently. I had cut into, well, you know what, the high voltage, and then, so there you go. Well, 1 minute I was hanging over the radio, and the next minute, after I'd cut into that high voltage line, I was facing opposite from it. When I came to, I was still standing, but now turned away from the transmitter. And why was my body still vibrating so violently? And something else was wrong. I wasn't breathing. Apparently, it had been a perfect storm, my chest on the radio and my fingers through the scissor holes. Meanwhile, back to the not breathing part. I could think about breathing, but that's about it. I couldn't do it. My lungs were paralyzed from the shock. I also knew I had a limited time in that condition before I would pass out, maybe permanently. Then I began pounding myself in the chest with my fist, trying to restore my paralyzed lungs. And then slowly, ever so slowly, I could take a little gulp of air. About an hour later, I could breathe a little, but it hurt. A week later, I had recovered. In retrospect, my hasty decision was to start cutting into that cable bundle without first unplugging the radio and then shorting out the high voltage. The good side, I had escaped death. Barely. Later, much later, I dug a hole and buried that German transmitter, never for it to threaten anyone else's life. Well, this has been another thrilling edition of Adventures in Radioland. And there you go, something, one of the episodes of my life I'd just as soon forget, but it is one of those that, will help maybe somebody with their better approach to servicing equipment as far as not taking any chances, making sure it's unplugged, and shorting out the high voltage to make sure that the power supply doesn't come back to bite you. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout. KC9VKV. This is Whiskey Bravo number 8, Romeo India Mike in Ohio.
Romeo India Mike, Roger, Roger, and what's the name there?
Romeo India Mike, Roger, Roger, and what's the name there? Lima Echo Echo Lee. Lima Echo Echo, over.
Roger Lee, and what was your location again?
Roger Lee, and what was your location again? Bloomingdale, Ohio. Bloomingdale, Ohio, which is about 18 miles west of Steubenville, Ohio, over.
Roger, I'm using my PASDR, and you're really about 10 or 12, 15 over. Really good signal. What radio are you running today, Lee?
15 over. Really good signal. What radio are you running today, Lee? I'm running my old Ten-Tech Jupiter. I have a bunch of rigs laying around, and about once a month or month and a half, I'd kind of rotate them, so it's its turn in the barrel, and it seems to be working okay, over.
Roger, Roger. That radio is an older radio. It does not have a lot of features. It does have an ALC, though, Roger.
No, it does not have a lot of features. It does have an ALC, though, Roger. It has an idiot light ALC, over.
That's right, that's right. So, and you're blinking that light pretty good, Roger, Roger?
That's right, that's right. So, and you're blinking that light pretty good, Roger, Roger? Oh, yeah. I got my transmit bandwidth at, let me roll up to the menu here, it's on 3000, I got my speech processor at 30%, and the mic gain at 35%, over.
Yes, sir, looks good there. Let's see, I was going to mention something there. I got a blank. You're looking real good. You're about 3 dB dynamic range, so your average percent of peak modulation is 80 to 85%. You might want to drop that, if it's easy, you might want to drop that top end down to 29 as opposed to 3, because what happens is if you have any blow-by, you have no grace, and you're right into somebody else's front yard. So with 2900, 100 to 2900, you have a slice of daylight there to keep out of somebody else's yard, Roger?
Daylight there to keep out of somebody else's yard, Roger. Okay, I dropped it down to 2850. It goes from 2850 to 3000, and it's a 2850. I'm using a D104 with the ceramic head. One of the last production runs of a D104. It's amplified, but I have it cranked way down and just kind of bumping up the audio on the microphone gain on the rig, over.
Yes, sir. Ideally, what you want to do is have your internal mic gain at a nominal level of, say, a 5, or which, if you have 10, what's your input level, mic input level? How is it laid out? Is it 0 to 100 or 0 to 10?
How is it laid out? Is it 0 to 100 or 0 to 10? 0 to 100, and right now I'm on 35%, over.
Yeah, so that's good. Thing is, when you have outboard equipment, you have to be careful to try to keep your internal mic gain in a nominal position. If you if you just happen to crank down your input mic level to say a 1 or a 10 or a 5 or something like that, and turn up the outboard equipment, you're going to start maybe moving towards distortion in your mic preamp front end. So what you want to do, and you're doing well, is to keep that mic gain, your internal mic gain, up around 35 or 50, somewhere around there, and then adjust the outboard gear to get your AOC level at or your light level to function. So just keep your internal mic gain at a nominal level, Roger.
Keep your internal mic gain at a nominal level, Roger. Oh, yeah. I also have a SM220 monitor scope. I'm looking at it, and it looks good on the scopes. That's a little bit of backup as far as overdriving, I guess, but it looks good on the scope, and I'm basically limited on what I can do with this thing. I have a mic input boost in the menu of the Jupiter, and it's on 6 dB, but I don't know if that does anything or not. Over.
Well, whatever you got going on, it's just perfect. I wouldn't change a thing. I would get the duct tape out and taper down. I think that radio's sounding outstanding. And if you'd like to hear it, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, that will take you to this recording, and it'll be cut number 1 in a series of 2,700 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. You say you have other radios?
And I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. You say you have other radios? Oh, yeah, I got an ICOM 751A, Kenwood 830S, I got a 590S, a 7300, and a Eagle, and 3 Drakes in the closet. Over.
And a partridge in a pear tree. God, that's beautiful, Lee. You certainly do have a wide selection there, and maybe we can set up some of the other receivers, some other transmitters some other time. Roger?
The other receivers, some other transmitters some other time. Roger? Okay, I'll let you go, Jim. I think your name is Jim. I didn't get your name, but I think that's what it is. Let you go get somebody else. Thank you for the help, and I listen to you all the time when you're on, but if I've already set a rig up, I don't even check in. I just listen to what's going on. 73s, God bless, and I hope to run into you again. KC9VKV from WB8RIM.
Roger, Lee. Love that audio. 73, sir. Have a great afternoon. Beautiful weekend. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog Net. My name is Jim, and we'll be broadcasting from now until 5. So if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
5. So if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
There's a Charlie Papa station in there. Charlie Papa station, come back with your call sign again, slowly, phonetically.
Papa station, come back with your call sign again, slowly, phonetically. Make me feel like that I really am
Charlie Papa station, this is KC9VKV. Come back with your call sign again, slowly, phonetically.
KC9VKV, come back with your call sign again, slowly, phonetically.
Yeah, the call sign phonetically here is KC9.
Charlie Papa, what is your location? Maybe I can get to you with my Hocus Pocus SDR receiver, Roger. This is KC9VKV. I can hear somebody in there, but I can't quite pull you out. I hear somebody back in there, but I can't quite make out what you're saying. You're right down in my noise level, and the best I'm copying is on my local antenna, but you're about a half a dB below my noise level. So I don't know if are you in the Kentuckiana area? Are you in the Kentuckiana area?
Are you in the Kentuckiana area? Are you in the Kentuckiana area?
Wow, station, I can barely copy you. I don't know what the problem is. Are you in the Kentuckiana area? Just answer me yes or no. Are you in the Kentuckiana area? Yeah, I really don't have a very good copy on you at all. I think you might be having antenna problems or power problems or something there. Let me go to another SDR in this area and see if they might have a better copy. I think you are in the Kentuckiana area, but I'm not receiving you very well. So let me see here. Let me go to... oh gosh, here go to my Kentucky SDR and see if they might have a better copy on you than I do. This is a northern Kentucky SDR. They might have a better copy on you than I do. All right, station calling, come back and try it again.
Jim is full of shit. He sits on here and he fucking talks himself up like he's talks himself up.
This is KC9VKV. I have a better copy on you now, I think, in my Lexington, Kentucky SDR. Come back slowly with your call sign.
Come back slowly with your call sign.
Fucking repeater in the city. You're always on 70. You're always up here on 40, and nobody can talk. We all live in New Albany. Nobody can talk because you're only within the fucking legal limit. Alright? I'm fucking 72, 65.
Not real sure what the gentleman's problem is. This is a network. This is the Qso-Vlog network. We're on the air from 3:30 till 5 every Friday afternoon. Not exactly sure what the gentleman's problem is, but this is a network, and you are interfering with a network. This is a controlled network, and you are interfering, so you are giving me a QRM. Roger, roger.
You are giving me a QRM. Roger, roger.
You're playing on 7188. You don't own this frequency. The frequency's got a license to Jim Ferguson. So, no, this isn't a network. It's just a game. You're on here playing. You want everybody to believe you're some kind of god, a
Well, sir, gosh, time now for another thrilling edition of Adventures in Radioland. This segment, the QRMer, a mental profile. First, you must understand that for the QRMer, deliberately interfering with your radio transmissions is a way of striking back, a way of getting even against a perceived enemy, you. Yes, you represent a threat to them, and they hate you for it. And QRMing brings them temporary joy and a sense of satisfaction as they try to obliterate you, obliterate their enemy off the air, because they are true dedicated sociopaths, a severe form of mental illness. A sociopath is a term used to describe someone who has antisocial personality disorder, better known as ASPD. People with ASPD can't relate to other people's feelings because they're so self-centered and full of hate. They were usually spoiled as a child and allowed to do whatever they wanted in regards to acting out. They will often break rules or make impulsive decisions without feeling any guilt for the harm that they may cause. The general image of a sociopath is often as a killer, a con artist, or other lawbreakers, but this is not necessarily the case. On the contrary, the nearest sociopath might be your boss, a partner, or a parent. While most sociopaths may not be literal outlaws, they do share certain traits with them. This includes a lack of remorse, a propensity for unfaithfulness, and a tendency toward behavior that benefits a sociopath at the expense of others. Ah, yes, that sounds to a T like our friendly QRMer. The true sociopath has a profound lack of conscience, a flaw in their moral compass. Normally, this moral compass steers the average person away from breaking common rules. However, with our QRMer, he has no moral compass. He derives pleasure from poorly treating his fellow ham. This internal moral disconnect, however, is often masked by a charming outward demeanor, and that he goes out of his way to portray when he's not trying to terrorize his fellow hams by QRMing through the bands. The terms sociopath and psychopath are used interchangeably, but while they do refer to similar behaviors, there is a difference. Sociopaths are individuals whose callous, deceitful behavior has been shaped by environmental factors, such as child abuse or exposure to expedient behavior, and because of this, sociopaths are considered to be amenable to behavioral changes and rehabilitation. And so it turns out our QRMer is a sociopath, and therefore there is hope for our QRMer after all. And that's why I try to reason with them instead of just ignoring them. I believe that there is hope for the QRMer to redeem himself, because they are subject to some degree of reasoning. They just need to be honest with themselves and ask the question, why? Why do you QRM? Why do you feel led to treat other people so badly? What makes you feel good about hurting others? QRMing is not the answer, my friend. The answer lies inside you and with your ability to throw off your demons and become a better person. And you can do it if you try, but it begins by asking yourself, why? Why do I QRM?
Why do I QRM?
All right, Jim. To quit, flatten the bands, and you are there. All right. Obviously, this happens quite often. Since you broke.
This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you need to check out, give me a shout.
If you have a radio you need to check out, give me a shout. You ain't got a 14313.
Yeah, that's old days.
November 9 Kilo Delta Bravo.
Kilo Delta Bravo, come back slowly with your call sign phonetically.
Kilo Delta Bravo, come back slowly with your call sign phonetically.
Hi there, Jim. This is November 9 Kilo Delta Bravo, November 9 Kilo Delta Bravo. Handle here is Eric, Echo Romeo India Charlie up here on the far west side of Indianapolis. How you doing today?
Great, Eric. Let's see, you're up in Indy, is that a Roger?
Let's see, you're up in Indy, is that a Roger?
Roger. Yeah, a town called Avon, just right outside of Indianapolis.
Yeah, Roger. And what radio are you running today, Eric?
Yeah, Roger. What radio are you running today, Eric?
I'm at the ever popular IC 7300.
My goodness, Eric, I'm getting a lovely QRM trying to interfere. You're well over it, but he is deliberately causing interference to a control network, and he takes all kinds for sure.
He takes all kinds for sure.
Yeah, I understand. You helped me set up this radio a while back, but then I had to get in and do some adjustments so I could have a second to set it back up the right way.
Get it figured out, Jim. Why don't you read another QR? You got 3 or 4.
Roger, sounds good. Why don't you come back and tell me about 10 to 15 seconds about your antenna system, and let me listen to you real good.
About 10 to 15 seconds about your antenna system, and let me listen to you real good.
Okay. The antenna system here is an infed half-wave, 8210 meter, about 20-25 feet in a couple of spots. Just kind of low setup here. I'm in an HOA, so can't get too extravagant. But it does the job when it can use it. Like you said, the radio is ICOM 7300, and I've got the compressor on a 3, and it's engaged. And right now the base is on 0.
Radio to talk on, so we don't.
Let's see, you're in that wide 100 to 2900 mode, is that a Roger?
In that wide 100 to 2900 mode, is that a Roger?
Sure am. Yeah, I'm looking right at it. Looks good. Yeah, 100 to 2900.
Great, and your compressor's on at a 3, Roger?
Great, and your compressor's on at a 3, Roger?
That's affirmative. Yeah, I engaged at a 3.
Alrighty, and then move to your ALC with mic gain in hand, and as you say the magic word audio, you become a human test tone generator, and with your mic gain, set your ALC meter for 2/3, Roger.
Mic gain, set your ALC meter for 2/3, Roger.
Alright, set your audio. Yeah, it looks like it's right about 2/3, 3/4, and compression is not even moving there on compression.
Yes, sir. We're just on the compressor. We're just talking just a tiny amount. A lot of times, it's the same level whether it's in or out. But it does give you a certain amount of like a limit to accept its slower attack and release time. But it does wonders. So we just leave it in at a 3. If you go 3 and a 6 are the same, but if you go to a 6, you'll start to get suck up between words. So the 3 is doing the same thing as a 6. Actually working on the word itself. The difference is that the 6 gives you suck up between the words, which really doesn't help you that much. So you've got that part up through the ALC. Now, if you want to, we go to the tone control page.
If you want to, we go to the tone control page.
Okay, here. Yeah, there we go. That's more like it here. Already, heading over here to the tone page. I'll be right back. Okay, I've got the bass on 0 and the treble +1, over.
I'm sorry, you got a lightning hit right on your treble. What is your treble reading?
I'm sorry, you got a lightning hit right on your treble. What is your treble reading?
+1.
Okay, I'd move that up to a +3. I'd move your treble up to a +3, and I would leave your bass line the same. And we listen to it at that.
Your bass line the same, and we listen to it at that.
Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Audio, treble +3, bass 0. Treble +3, bass 0.
Roger, I think that sounds pretty good. Let me see if I can get my... what state do you normally get into real well, just out of curiosity, Eric?
You normally get into real well, just out of curiosity, Eric?
I have been known to get into Georgia okay. I'm not sure about 40, though.
Roger that. I checked Georgia, and I was not copying you. So let me just see here. What if you go north? Let me just check something here. I'm kind of experimenting with this SDR receiver, my Hocus Pocus SDR receiver. Come back and let me listen to you now, Roger.
Hocus SDR receiver. Come back.
Very good. There's 3, treble 3. Audio. Everything on the front looks good.
Roger. Okay, let me try another one. I'm getting closer to you. I can get right next to you there. Let's see here. Just out of curiosity. Okay. Let's try. Just out of curiosity, North Carolina. That should be directly, almost due east of you, and then we'll see what that does. Come back and let me listen to you for a moment.
And we'll see what that does. Come back and let me listen to you for a moment.
Okay, very good.
Roger, Eric. I think you're sounding pretty good, buddy. As best I can tell, this guy's about to have a heart attack trying to QRM me. Trying to have a heart attack. I think he's going to have one if he, gets any crazier. But I think you're sounding good, and if you want to hear your radio, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, that will take you to this recording, and it'll be cut number one in a series of 2,700 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow.
Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow.
Alrighty, very good, Jim. I sure appreciate it. I normally don't have Fridays off, but just that we want to say hi and see if we can get your attention on the audio here. Appreciate it. And we'll let you go. I sure appreciate the help, and we will take it out on the KC9VKV 73 from the 980.
Hey, Roger there, Eric. 73, sir, and you have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend, and if you get a chance, join us next Friday. We'd love to have you. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog Net. My name is Jim, and if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
My name is Jim, and if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
I like them jammers here, too. My name's Jim Ferguson, and I have a script about QRMing, and I will read it off to you. It's eliminated. It's right in front of me. It says this: QRMer, you attack me? Why do you attack me? I didn't know you. You don't know me. So if you don't know me and you attack me, would you attack a boy in the park? Or would you attack a woman? If you don't know me, maybe you're mad at yourself.
Hey, that's one of my old scripts. You've been tracking a long time there, buddy.
Tracking a long time there, buddy.
Yeah, we're tired of listening to you, Jim. We're tired of you, buddy.
Let me just work on my hocus pocus situation here just for a minute. See what we can find out here. Hocus pocus. I think you're in Lexington.
Lexington.
Come on, hocus pocus. Give me some chatter there. Let me find you, Roger. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout. Yeah, go ahead, buddy.
Go ahead, buddy.
This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net, and if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
If you have a radio.
Getting into all the neighbors' TVs and shit.
Using profanity and interfering with a control network. Boy, I wonder what the fine for that would be. Maybe $10,000?
$10,000?
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Yeah, $10,000, Jim.
Yes, sir. Maybe 20,000. I'm not real sure, but they have been catching folks like you for a recent development in FCC, actions. They've long time they ignored you, but they're starting to take you seriously as the interrupter of communications that you are. I mean, your mother would be proud of you, son. Your mother would be very, very proud of you. It turned out to be such a beautiful sociopath. The question is, why do you QRM? Why do you feel led to treat other people so badly? What makes you feel good about hurting others? QRMing is not the answer, my friend. The answer lies inside you, in your ability to throw off your demons and become a better person. And you can do it if you try. But it begins by asking yourself, why? Why do I QRM?
Why do I QRM?
Got no answer for that.
Got no answer for that.
Right now, I see by the clock on the wall a dead fly. Ooh. So we got to get out of here. Since 3:30, we've been recording live, and if you participated and want to hear what your radio sounds like, just go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook. That's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word logbook. And that will take you to our Qso-Vlog YouTube page, where we're currently featuring over 2,700 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings. This will be cut number 1 in that series, and we'll have it uploaded to YouTube by noon tomorrow. And just a reminder, we run the Qso-Vlog network each Friday afternoon from 3:30 to 5 p.m. Eastern on this frequency, 7188. So here's a big thanks to all who participated, and we'll see you next Friday afternoon at 3:30 Eastern. This is KC9VKV, and we now return this frequency back to normal amateur radio use. KC9VKV, clear.